Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, the one and only Mount Crusade. Today we're playing as the Republic of Iraq under Saddam Hussein in the Red Dusk Hoi4 mod, and hopefully we'll manage to do more than we did last episode. We should probably start fighting off the coalition. Ah, the 2002 presidential referendum with Saddam's 7-year term and ending another election was organized to determine Iraq's future and Saddam's support in the Iraqi people. The ballot had two options, the renewal of the Saddam presidency or the other rejecting it. The voting centers were heavily guarded by soldiers to protect the democratic process from any sabotage. As the ballots were finished to count, it was clear that Saddam had won the election, with every single eligible citizen in Iraq confidently voting for our great leader Saddam Hussein for another 7 years, renewing his term. Winning 100% of the vote shows us just how popular our current policies are, with multiple people even seen signing the ballot with their own blood to show their loyalty to Saddam Hussein. Many celebrations broke out in major cities congratulating Saddam's fair and accurate victory. Patriotism was at an all-time high. I say it'll only take one more air operation al-Basara to take victory in the region. Okay. And this should be the thing that'll win us al-Basara, and we will be able to take it from the coalition forces. And just to make sure we do it, I am going to save. No, the skies are ours. We rule the skies. Oh, and I forgot to read the thing. Our defenses have accomplished what was once thought impossible. Our aircraft are now free to rule the skies, and our ground forces no longer have to fear being attacked from above. From now on, we can focus on rebuilding and reconstructing the Air Force and rebuilding its once proud reputation. Aircraft acquisition. Our Air Force is severely lacking in aircraft, with a significant portion being lost during the Gulf War and the years following it. However, there are a few options that we can attempt that would allow us to bolster our existing fleet while we wait for permanent solutions. Legacy of Muhammad Ryan. During the Iran-Iraq War, Muhammad Ryan was one of our most deadly pilots, scoring at least 5 air combat kills against Iranian aircraft. His incredible skill gave access to the MiG-25, the rapid interceptor guarded by the Soviet advisors that was only allowed to the best to fly it. Fortunately, tragedy struck in 1986 when he was shot down by one of Iran's aces, Jalal Zandi. A story should inspire our current generation of pilots who are used to cowering away from coalition aircraft that used to patrol our skies. It is through our boldness and determination that our Air Force has survived, and how it will somehow continue to prosper in the years to come. The Army. The current state of our Army is not the best. We are struggling to support our armed forces, and beyond that, the Army is not even in a position to fight a war or even intervene against simple rebels. We must do everything possible to improve our Army. The small bastard. After taking the... Ooh, no, we should start with Syria. Syria, since Saddam's candidacy as president have caused us various internal problems, such as turning our own people against us with their ideals. The biggest front was the Syrian ambassadors proposed a unification treaty between Syria and Iraq, which was obviously rejected by our government. Now the time has come for us to take revenge on the treacherous republic by beginning to influence their population with Ba'ath's ideals, as they tried to do with us in the years past. Spread pan-Iraqi ideals. As the Syrians tried to intrude into our politics by spreading their ideals and also to propose a union between Syria and Iraq, so we will do now with them. Our plan before starting a large military scale operation, a special military operation in Syria, is to spread the Iraqi ideals and imagery of Saddam Hussein. With this tactics, we will increase the consensus of the Syrian population towards Iraq, and many people will lose faith in their government. Strike them now. After a long and careful military preparation, it has come time to strike and conquer Syria. With the spread of pan-Iraqi ideals, some Syrian citizens could also help us by providing us basic support. The Middle East is about to understand what power Iraq is about to become. We will take all the territories that belong to us, we will destroy every single enemy of our nation, and we will kill anyone that tries to obstruct us. To Damascus, onward! Oh, and look, there's an event. Syria-Iraq War. A new conflict between the Syrian Republic and the Iraqi Republic has broken out in the Middle East after rising tensions. This conflict arose after Saddam publicly announced his ideals, for which the Syrian Republic stood, were hostile to his government. They sought the integration of Iraq into Syria, thus the removal of Saddam. Saddam stated that Bashar forced him into this war after several national threats and provocations aimed at the Iraqi people. Stated the Syrian people seek nothing more than friendly relations between all Arab people, and that the authoritarian right-wing Baathists must vanish for the sake of our freedom. Now that the conflict has become entirely unavoidable, several battles have broken out between Syrian and Iraqi troops have already commenced. Mediation between these two nations is infeasible. War in the Middle East, nothing new.
شافوري عالصادر هالهالشاجوري يا قاعد رابط شافوري عالصادر هالهالشاجوري يا قاعد رابط شافوري عالصادر هالهالشاجوري يا قاعد رابط شافوري عالصادر هالهالشاجوري للصادر كلمة عني رجعنا الراضي ناوي مكسور ذراع اي والله وعونك يا قاع هاي القاع رضينا بيها نشرب من دم اي والله وعونك يا قاع للساتر قلت عني رجعنا الرادي ناوي مكسور ذراع اي والله وعونك يا قاع هاي القاع رضينا بيها نشرب من دم اليادي هذول احنا سباع اي والله وعونك يا قاع يا قاعد رابط شافوري عالصادر هالهالشاجوري يا قاعد رابط.
And there goes Damascus. Iraq wins against Syria. The war waged by Saddam Hussein against Syria has come to an end today with the victory of Saddam's troops and the people of Iraq. The Iraqi units managed to advance without too many problems into the Syrian hinterland, and quickly captured cities and advanced to Damascus after having besieged it for several weeks, having exiled it from any supply, conquered it. With the fall of the capital, the Syrian government surrendered, and Bashar and his family were exiled from the country. After Syria's capitulation, Iraq established an occupation authority, led by one of Saddam's most loyal officers, the same political alignment as Saddam. Once ready for integration, the occupation authority will be disbanded and Syria's permanent fate will be decided. The Lion of Baghdad roars no more. The Forbidden Power. After solving the internal problems that plagued Iraq, we can finally focus on most of our resources on developing the military. Since the 80s, Iraq has always tried to develop an atomic bomb, but in vain, as Western nations and the United States did not want Iraq, one of the few nations in the Middle East not under American influence, to develop a nuclear bomb. Many years have passed since that time, and after we managed to solve internal problems and the economic crisis, the time has come to develop this weapon. The small bastard. After taking Syrian territories that belong to us, it is time to take revenge on our little neighbor Kuwait. Kuwait, even if it is an insignificant nation, has led to the total defeat of Iraq in its plans, thanks to the intervention of the Americans. Times are about to change. That little bastard will stop bothering us. But for now, we must limit ourselves to studying them. It is not the right moment to strike it. Americans aren't looking. After several weeks of waiting for this exact moment to hit them, it has finally arrived. So the Americans are too busy with internal politics and problems that we have we have to hit that little bastard that is Kuwait now, or this occasion could never happen again. Run them over. Again. The time has come, the military is ready. We finally wipe that dull nation of Kuwait off the face of this earth. And at the same time, we take control of the gas stations where Americans usually import fuel into their country. With the start of this operation, the entire Middle East and the enemies of Iraq will understand that Iraq does not forget wounds suffered by other nations. If you want to read that, pause it, because it's too much text. And there, boom, there Kuwait goes. Improve relations with the Saudis. After we got rid of Kuwait, it's time to start some talks with the Saudi leaders, with the Saudi leader to improve our relations as with the army personnel, especially made up by those vehicles and tanks. We need fuel, and this is the beginning of our friendship with the Saudis. Also sign some trade agreements on fuel. Get their backing. Beginning of our little friendship between Iraq and Saudi Arabia, we must try to win their support. By doing so, we could expand our influence and diminish the American one. The Yankees will most likely take this event as a affront to their power, but by doing so, the world will understand that the American giant is losing power in the Middle East. And their oil. With the constant talks between Iraq and Saudi Arabia and the high relations between our two nations, the Arabs have finally decided to support us by providing us with fuel at a lower price. With the constant talks between Iraq and Saudi Arabia and the high relations between our two nations, Arabs have finally decided to support us by providing us with fuel at a lower price, and continuing to maintain relations with other Saudis will be more likely to support our cause in the Arabic world. Develop the WMDs. After putting the Tuatha back into operation, we need to restart developing WMDs. These weapons will be very useful if an event like the Iranian-Iraqi War were to repeat itself. We must limit ourselves to the development of only a few WMDs for two main reasons. The first is Iraq lacks some essential materials for the creation of WMDs, and the second reason is because some of the world powers may be alarmed if they discover the presence of WMDs on Iraqi soil. Old wounds. After bloody fighting and sacrifices, the time has come to confront Iraq's greatest enemy in the entire Middle East, Iran. Iran has been in bad relations with Iraq since the Syrian Revolution, which led to liberalization of Muslim theocracy. For example, women were under no obligation to carry the burqa in public, which frightened some nations in the Middle East and encouraged the revolts by the population against the government. In 1988, which led to the total fall of relations between Iran and Iraq, Iranian-Iraqi War, also known as Saddam's, I don't know how to pronounce that word. There are many fallen in that conflict, especially Iraqi civilians. 120,000 lives wasted for way of ignorance of the Iranian people. Times are about to change. That the time has come to bandage those old wounds and prepare for a final showdown with Iran. We will avenge every single fallen of that war for Iraq. Ask for Soviet support to reach the extreme greatness of Iraq and most of the Middle East under control. We need a strong ally, and the best choice for us is definitely the USSR. Coming weeks, Saddam Hussein will meet with the General Secretary of the USSR to enter into an agreement to support Iraq in a possible conflict. Ready the army. After our great homeland has expanded and reached its maximum splendor, we must mobilize the army against every threat, especially Iran. They are our last obstacle before reaching greatness, and how each of our enemies will perish. But before that happens, we must prepare, starting with the ground forces. We are building a nuclear warhead. Prepare the plan. After having successfully signed the agreement with the General Secretary of the Soviet Union, it has come time to prepare the battle to plans to attack Iran. Since 1988, after the Gulf War, one of its greatest enemies of Iraq and its people has been Iran. Iran represents an obstacle for Iraq to achieve greatness. In fact, Iraq is the strongest power in the Arab and Muslim world. For this reason, Saddam is determined to oppose it. For the time of revenge is coming. We will make them pay for the fallen of 88. Let's place them on the border. Revenge for 88.
معمورة وبالعز مبنية ولو ضاغط في الغيظ الدنيا ثورة نشرة اي والله وعونك يا قاع ترحم ترابك داويته والراضي دلك دليته والحق ما ضاع اي والله وعونك يا قاع معمورة وبالعز مبنية ولو ضاغط في الغيظ الدنيا ثورة نشرة اي والله وعونك يا قاع ترحم ترابك داويته والراضي دلك دليته والحق ما ضاع اي والله وعونك يا قاع.
Why are they losing that badly? Just seriously, just look at that ratio. Yeah, just let them grind on us for a bit. Yeah, just look, it keeps on ticking up. and Iran fucking capitulated. Yeah, yeah, look at us. Look at us. Only took 2 tries. Yeah, yeah. We have done it. We have done it. Yeah, yeah. Someone, start playing Swords of Iraq. Someone. Yeah, baby, we have done it. Yeah, Saddam victorious. Oh, and I forgot to read the thing. Finally, the willpower and determination of the Iraqi people have finally triumphed over its enemies, granting Iraq and Saddam a great victory now. Now we have settled the problems in the newly acquired territories, and the government has made the decision to determine the fate of Iraq. Either stay with pan ideals of Nasser or found a new Ba'ath ideal with Iraqi characteristics. Saddam's new Ba'athism lies in the close cooperation between Arab nations. Form the same ideals in the government aligned with Iraq, forming another branch of Arab socialism that is pan-Arabism with Iraqi characteristics. Which one should we do? Proclaim Greater Iraq. Renaming of Iranian provinces. After our great victory against the Iranians, we have acquired and annexed bordering states and truly integrate these new states into Iraqi culture. We should distance them from their past and rename them to better fit the nation. Kurdistan changes to Arabistan, and Kermanshah becomes Assad Babil. Approved. In celebration, we will build a WMD. Proclaim Greater Iraq. New take on Pan-Arabism. After Iraq's recent military victories against Kuwait, Syria, and Iran, Saddam Hussein declared the enemies of Iraq and traitors of the Arab people dead. Subsequently, declared a new Greater Iraq before a crowd of cheering people. It appears that the pan-Arab ideology of Iraqi Ba'aths have developed into multiple Arab states with close ties and a unitary Arab state. At this moment, it's not clear what Saddam will do with occupied nations and its people. Many speculate the establishment of new Arab states controlled by Baghdad will follow, a new take on pan-Arabism. Look, we even got a new flag. Deport the Persians. Ah, and there goes Oman, and there goes the UAE. So basically, right now we're all wrapped up in a shield of ourselves. Sorry if you heard a clack there. I was kicking my desk. Pan-Arabism with Iraqi characteristics. The theory on Arab socialism and Pan-Arabism conceived by Nasser is now outdated and no longer functional as in his days. For this reason, Saddam came up with his own ideas stemming from Pan-Arabism, which consists of very close cooperation between a number of Arab nations with the same ideals, and foreign policy as Iraq. But each of these individual nations that collaborate with our government will not be united into the UAR, but will remain close partners. Strengthening our hold. It has become clear, despite our expert government engineering of our brother governments, and along with Syrian and Iranian lands, it seems not to be only corruption lurking within our ranks, but also pro-Iranian and pro-Syrian nationalist thinking, which are both extremely dangerous to the stabilities of our brother nations. To counter this, we shall enact a new set of laws with two spearhead focuses, one being to allow mass-scale stationing of our garrison forces in these areas to enforce stability, and the other allowing our powers to both elect and remove collaborating politicians to be greatly expanded so to more properly root our traitors' elements. A strong Arab spear. So far, new reforms of the old pan-Arab ideology have been going well, with new industrial programs continued with the increased education spending has opened a new age in Iraq. However, there are still threats lurking in our society that might stop all of it. Due to the new constitution that will be signed today, will give Baghdad to conduct anti-terrorist action using the Iraqi army oversight on education system in our brother nations to continue that they do not have any traitors lurking around plotting. These reforms shall guard Iraq and its brother nations against any threat. Finally, some stability thanks to our great leader. We'll remove the Western embargo. With Iraq being under embargo for years, our economy and daily life of our citizens mostly adjusted to this new normal, causing the effect the embargo's mostly wearing off. Okay, and finally, since that wasn't interesting, I get done with that. Benefits of a planned economy. Oh, I can't even read the bottom. So I guess we're gonna have to read it here. A planned economy is undoubtedly the best way to govern your economic plan of your country. After taking control of the pan-Arab territories bordering us, Kuwait, Jordan, Syria, and etc., by adopting this system, we have noticed exponential growth in our GDP and a general improvement in the economic plan, and in state revenues. Now, having connected most of the major centers of the newly conquered pan-Arab territories with Baghdad in these regions, and mainly in urban centers such as Damascus, there have been economic growth, and above all, it has not occurred only in the city, but also in the whole region, as well as Kuwait, Jordan, etc. By expanding the planned economy plan, our homeland Iraq will become a new economic powerhouse in the Middle East, surpassing even those American lapdogs, Saudi Arabia. Well, funny thing is, now Saudi Arabia is our lapdog. So, can't read the bottom there. So I guess we're gonna have to start and read it out here. The internal strifes and divisions within our state have been quelled, with the matter of political foolishness, ideological dissidence, and economic malice all being handled by the professional work of our glorious Saddam Hussein. Changed our directive not to the economic development nor the political strengthening, nothing frugal like that. No, our aim shall be the conquest, expanding our border and liberating the lands of Arabia from the clutches of Western imperialism and Zionist Satanism. The crusade will not be easy, not at all, but we will be swift, for all enemies of our state will meet their own form of justice one way or another, and Iraq shall bathe in the riches brought by these expansion. Forward, brothers, for Iraq, for Hussein. Oh, chose to become part of us. Push Lebanon to the sea. There, they're overwhelmed, and a new government is installed. Scum of the earth. Having completed the conquests of pan-Arab neighboring territories of Lebanon with the military invasion and those of Jordan, which a treaty has been made with the government, we can now finally lay the foundations of our greatest plan in all of Iraq's modern history, a conquest of an illegitimate state in the Middle East, Israel. The state of Israel, the enemy of Iraq and of the Arab people, as it is coming to meet their fate, willed by Allah Himself. Once our plan is finished, Saddam will finally be able to fulfill the promise he made years ago. I swear to God, we will let our fire eat half of Israel, connect supply lines, just in case. But no matter how much we have prepared, no matter how long we have trained for this war, Israel holds one key advantage over us regardless of the power of the atom. No matter how much they deny the truth, they know it to be true. They hold multiple nuclear warheads in their arsenal of destruction, which they will not hesitate to use against us in an event of war. In order to counter this, we must make a presentation of strength, a show of our might, and just how far we have come in all conquests. We shall detonate our first nuclear warhead in the Jordan desert on the border of Israel so they can fully see they have met their match in the Arabian desert. Yeah, how about we just move our troops away for one moment. Oh, and I forgot to read the tiny little red message down there. The desert would tremble from the detonation and the world from Iraq's might. Let's build another warhead. And look at that. The world has seen our might. Iraq's might. Force draft in order to fully and truly eradicate these mongrels in Tel Aviv in the rapidly approaching war for Palestinian liberation. We will need every single one of the true sons of Iraq, for they must be the most dedicated to the cause in order to fully fulfill this sacred duty from the streets of Baghdad to the plains of Nuqib. All shall be recruited into the army willingly or not, they shall serve. Our propaganda efforts will ease this process as less youth of our nation are willing to rebel against these orders. Okay, ready there for us. While our nation's armies are primed and ready for the up-and-coming crusade against Zionist scum, our most diabolical weapon lies in its Air Force. The Israeli Air Force has been a terror upon the Arabian people, wreaking havoc ever since their founding. We must be prepared to counter this threat and swiftly eradicate it. Utilizing some spare funds, we shall heavily invest into our Air Force budgets while training thousands of new cadets into the Air Force. Taking models from the Soviet and Chinese allies abroad, we can only hope that we have the proper capabilities to strike down this threat at the beginning of the war. Otherwise, our armies will be reduced to rubble. This Israelis. Yeah, yeah, look at that. Look at that. These clouds of radioactive smoke will clear. Oh, East Jerusalem too. No, no, no. Fucking bum rush 'em. Nuke 'em again. Make them see what we have done. Call to arms. Call to arms. Yeah, and there we fucking go. Bomb supply lines. Well, we already got that done. Alright, got that done. Nassar avenged. At long last, after all the wars, all the sacrifices, all the lives lost in pursuit of this grand victory, it is here, and we shall cherish this eternal victory for as long as our state lives. Our forefathers have been avenged, our brothers hail our victory, our people come back home, cheer in the streets, and our image has been emboldened for all to see and cheer. In the following day Saddam, along with most of his general staff, shall make a speech in Jerusalem announcing the end of this conquest and the beginning of a new age for all the people of Iraq, commemorating those who died in the pursuit of this crusade and announcing the construction of a new statue of himself right in the center of Jerusalem. For today is a grand day of celebration. Greater Iraq solidified. After years and years of struggle, the Iraqi people under Saddam Hussein have prevailed. The Zionist scum that poisoned our holy land has been defeated by our forces, and their lobbies utterly destroyed. The American dogs and their Arab allies that betrayed the nation that would establish a new outlook on pan-Arabism back in 1991 are in shambles. The army of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Iran will march in glory, knowing our sons and daughters will not live in an American-dominated nor a Soviet-dominated Middle East. They will live in a new Arab century for the Middle East. Stopping his speech as crowds cheered loudly. Iraq has achieved its goals. Many people have died just to see a glimpse of it. These people are going to be honored eternally, as they have helped bring a future that will be bright for the people of New Arabia, and thus a new age for the Arab Peninsula. Greater Iraq, after many struggles, have prevailed and introduced a new approach to pan-Arabism. Thank you for playing Iraq in Red Dusk. Oh, and there, look, old Saddam. We got old Saddam Hussein. And now, just like the mod has thanked me for playing it, I would like to thank y'all for watching my video. It means a lot to me if you had. Thank you. God bless you. Good night. Whatever time it is. Good morning, good day, good night, or whatever it is for you. Stay alright, alright.